Hello, Cory. Can you hear me? So,
I can.
oh, I am so glad to have all of you. Thank you for being with us.
And you too also.
Warm welcome. So, I am so glad meeting with all of you in that leadership summit. We are talking about exponential growth and also the effects of pandemic to our lives, and especially to job seekers and also related subjects. We have Lorraine, and she has what? She has a wonderful project. We will talk about her project first of all, then we will start our program with Cory, and we will keep going with all of you. So,
That's great.
Lorraine, would you please tell us what does it mean to be jobless for you? How your project developed? How you decided this project? Resume selector? Then we will keep going with other guests.
Thank you very much to give me this opportunity. Actually,
we can't hear you, Lorraine. We can't hear you.
oh, wow. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Thank you so much. So the idea is the following. No, you cannot hear me?
I think we can't hear. I can't hear you.
Oh, you cannot hear me.
We can hear you, Lorraine.
Okay, so
I can hear you.
Okay, so maybe I'll just explain. Since I'm 15 years old, I had the honor to serve different charities, and I've come to realize that the best charity we can do is really to give someone a job, to a job that is respectful of his body, mind, and soul, of course. And therefore, and on another aspect is that I'm a true nerd, like coding and algorithm science. And I've come to realize that these two could merge and develop indicators and develop ways of analyzing resumes and different aspects of a professional life to help people shine, finding their right next move. To be clearer, I became an HR consultant in HR analytics, and we met with Mr. ALTUN, the exponential growth strategist at Harvard, and we were discussing about social media. He has 4 children, and for him and his wife, it was very important for him to educate and also find the right platform for her children to interact with the world. And so while discussing, we thought it would be a good idea to create a social media platform that would educate, that would fight discrimination, and also enable people to find the right opportunities. So for 2 years, more than 2 years actually, a little more, we have worked on those state-of-the-art algorithm. We are still working on it until, I think it will be until the end of our lives, and also the design to propose a solution. I don't know if I answer your question, dear NESLIHAN.
What were the challenges when you started this journey for resume selector? Can you explain and expand on that? Because, you know, I understand you met in Harvard, but what was really the driving motivation for you, Lorraine?
My motivation, what kept me going, because the technical issues were tremendous. Very difficult to create a state-of-the-art algorithm. It has to be huge standard of ethics, because we are not analyzing advertisement. We are not analyzing logistics. We are analyzing a part of people's life.
I see.
And what kept me going was the smile of, for example, an homeless finding a job, a homeless person writing his resume, and then
That's amazing.
analyzing. And I think it's this smile, you know, this slides. It's as you are, all leaders and coach, amazing.
Absolutely.
When you see that in someone, I think it worth all the work, all the sweat, all the tears.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But you are not just, this is a social entrepreneurship. At the same time, you know, it's really fulfilling being a social entrepreneur, you know, but this is one of the most important areas. And especially in these times, focusing in this area is something I really want to thank you.
I think we are all waiting for the next generation of social media, whether it's us or it's not, but it's still a business, because we have to make it sustainable. But 30% of the profits are given back to charities.
Awesome. This is amazing. So a large amount of profits are giving back to charity.
30%, yeah.
30%, yes.
Because once you have developed a social media platform, and it's a success, inshallah. But so it means that it serves people. It can generate huge amount of profit, as we see about Facebook or LinkedIn, or.
Absolutely.
And there is no point for Mr. ALTUN and I to earn that kind of money one day or another. It's just about it has to go back directly to the people.
And how are you going to vision the differentiation of resume selector compared to other platforms? What are going to be your strategies, you know, with you and YAVUZ ALTUN?
I think it's about privacy. For example,
that's very important.
Really, for Mr. ALTUN, for his children, he was a lot thinking about his children, and for me, for people who are from minorities that I've had the honor of serving, it's about privacy. We don't record your information. We just don't. Your conversations are private. We don't look at them. We don't have them on the server. You have a right of your own experimentation and exploration, but you have to make sure that the person you interact with is responsible for what he is publishing. And so we have like this, you can say beautiful, dislike, disagree, and as soon as you have 10 disagrees, it goes out of the platform and it impacts your score, so that you can monitor who you want to interact with. So it's so many different details. And we ask also something else. We ask the source of what you say. You can say personal, you can say personal thoughts, but it's really to educate. So, and it's also, so it goes from detail and also from algorithm to analyze your resumes and match you with the right person.
This is amazing. I'm really excited, especially keeping privacy has become a nightmare for many. So I think I've been sold with this, and I want to host you on our TV channel. I'm joining from NTR. We are the only TV channel broadcasting to more than 900 million viewers across more than 40 countries, as well as Somali Turk TV, which is only broadcasting in Somalian. So we have a group of media with your, I want to host you and Yavuz Altun
Yes.
just for the resume selector. I think you can even change lots of lives across Africa. We broadcast to more than 40 countries. So if I may invite you, we will be really honored to host you. I'm really impressed with what you said. Thank you, Lorraine.
Thank you. And we are still improving, and we will improve until we serve the people. And thank you so much. We would love to contribute to your program.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
So much.
And now, yeah, we had a program. In fact, we would start, but we couldn't see. Sorry for that. And warm welcome everybody again. And Tony, GÜLŞAH, YAVUZ, SELİM, SILAY, Robin Hood, and ABIR and SHABAN. All of you, welcome. And now I appreciate all your attendance and your presence to be with us in this leadership summit. We can start with CORY now. And please, CORY, your journey is so important. You are a wonderful leader over LinkedIn. And my dear friend, would you please tell us your soul journey, how you started LinkedIn, what brought you to LinkedIn, and what is your experience about your leadership style and your entrepreneur style also? You are founder of Schedule, and you have many initiatives also. We appreciate your efforts for us, for humanity. Would you please tell us your soul journey? What made you CORY nowadays? How you brought yourself?
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much. First of all, Nestle, thank you for having me, and everyone. I appreciate the attendance, and hopefully I'm able to shed a little bit of light on what's worked for me so far. So first of all, Lorraine, I love your initiative as well. Two of my startups are also building social media around helping people upskill and help them with their interviewing skills, whether they're a job seeker or a recruiter. And I've had a number of viral posts on LinkedIn for the 3 years I've been active there, and the majority of them are geared towards helping job seekers, and have helped several hundred people get jobs around the world. So I'm very passionate about what you're doing as well. And I do think that privacy is of the utmost importance. It's why I've been studying the blockchain technologies as well. I think that once we decentralize, we have a lot of opportunity to not only take custody of our own data, but to make sure that it's being leveraged for our benefit and not to our detriment. But so with that said, 20 years ago, I started washing dishes at a restaurant in a small town, and every 6 months I upskilled for several years until I was a corporate restaurant manager. I did the national consulting thing. I spent 20 years working in the restaurant industry, and I realized that at the end of the day, everyone's schedules changed daily and weekly, and you couldn't tell when you were going to work. You didn't know how much money you're going to make, and it was so contentious that it's now become illegal here in the US, and companies are getting fined millions of dollars. So my first kind of real startup, Schedule, we've now raised about $1.5 million, and we're live in a number of sectors and industries here across North America to help solve for scheduling. But 3 years ago, when the company had just launched our first product, I realized that I wanted to get out ahead of the curve. I wanted people to know what we were doing. I didn't have a marketing budget. 20 years in the restaurant industry, I really didn't understand things like growth, things like lead generation, magnets, drip campaigns. None of that was in my wheelhouse. I always kind of ran the other way from people that were trying to sell me anything aggressively. And so I read a book called Traction by Gabriel Weinberg that effectively said to study the 12 different ways that people get clients and leads, and to focus on the one that seemed to be working and to double down on it. So I ran several tests, from guerrilla marketing, word of mouth. I went door to door to over 100 local businesses on foot. But I also leveraged social media. And with LinkedIn, I noticed very quickly that there weren't very many people with a background in hospitality and restaurants like myself. So I understood that that was an opportunity for me to make a name for myself globally in a certain industry that I was serving. And when I realized that putting these videos on LinkedIn was a great way for people to get to know who I was, look in my eyes, hear my voice, get to know me, get to trust me, start to talk about me when I wasn't there, that's when I realized that optimizing my profile was the best way to do it. So rather than show up and try to sell people the services and solutions that I was bringing to the world, or even if I was hiring or whatever it was that I would have leveraged social media for, I just started putting videos out there. And what I did, I think, a little differently than what I see a lot of people do is I've never tried to teach anyone anything. I share stories, I ask people questions, I love to hear people's input, feedback. I love to kind of get my finger on the pulse, but I'm not there to teach because I'm not there to learn. And what I'll talk about quickly today that's worked for me on social media has been the law of reciprocity. But so for me, as someone that's not on social media to learn, I don't show up to teach. As someone that's there to get a lot of engagement, I always provide a lot of engagement. And I literally try to go 10 to 1. If I'm looking for a lot of likes on some of my content, I'll go like 10 times as many posts as I want the likes on my post to be. If I'm looking to get followers or if I'm looking to get connections or clients, I'll go out and actively try to, do the other side of that. So go and try to get a lot of other people clients. I've built a lot of social capital where people send me referrals every single day. But when I talk about the law of reciprocity, I think it's just tuning into what people, what groups of people or what segments are going to resonate with your style. So for me, did someone have a statement or a question?
Yeah. First of all, I learned from you many things, but beside everything, I learned from you to be courageous. To be courageous to be alive, first of all. And what do you suggest, especially for entrepreneurs and also job seekers, because you have many activities on LinkedIn in both parts. You are supporting entrepreneurs as an entrepreneur, and also you are supporting job seekers with your experiences, with your thought leadership style, so that nowadays we are passing in a turbulent, totally in all countries, and all entrepreneurs and also all the job seekers, professionals are experiencing similar issues that they are feeling desperate. How you can, what do you suggest them to overcome those issues in their inner self?
Yeah, it's a great question. What I find is a lot of people lack specificity. So a lot of the job seekers that I talk to or observe on social media or help are really just either looking for a job or they're looking for something very general. I want to get into HR, I want to do sales. What I always tell people is to identify not only the industry, but to identify the actual title of the job or the position role that they want, the name of the role or the person that can hire them, who that person leans on to make that decision. So if it's in HR, they're going to be leaning on the hiring manager. If it's a smaller organization, it might be someone in executive leadership. But when you understand exactly what you want to do, and then understand exactly where you want to do it. So all of a sudden, if you understand that you want to be a very specific role in a very specific industry, you can narrow down the top 5 companies. You can then start to engage with people, find people at that company that are active on social media or alignable or any other platform that you want to go to, Twitter. But I find that the familiarity is huge. So once you understand a company that you want to work at and who within that company could potentially hire you, or who's talking to the people that can, and you start to develop that rapport, it's a lot easier for them to let you know when a position is available before it comes on to market, or it's very easy for you to get a referral. And so I find the people that are saying aggressively that they need a job or that are applying for 100 jobs and taking any interview that they can get typically are very frustrated. And the people that are keeping that a little bit more guarded and that are just putting themselves out there as an authentic human being that's kind, that cares, that knows how to listen, that's part of a community, they find the opportunities coming to them. And, whether it's sales, anything professionally and beyond professionally, when you can have it inbound is so much better than outbound. And I find that works not only for job seekers, for recruiters, for people that are, whether it's a coach, author, whatever it might be, selling their own product, selling a product or a service for someone else. When it comes inbound, it's so much differently. So I'm all about optimizing a profile so that it's compelling from a tagline, not just saying that you're in sales, you're in data analytics, you're in Forex, but a little something about what makes you a little bit different or something that might resonate with your target. Because at the end of the day, for me, social media should be a lead generator of getting the right eyeballs to your profile. And so it's a matter of I don't need a million people that come to my profile to want to do business with me. My profile says 20-year restaurant industry veteran turned entrepreneur. The people that I'm looking to talk to and do business with are going to hear that and say, wow, I need to know more. They're going to go to shedwell.com. They're going to understand that we add 1 to 2% EBITDA to our clients. We're going to keep them compliant with the labor laws, save them millions of dollars. Those people resonate with what we're doing. And so it's been very intentional. I always, not only personally, but encourage everyone to review their actual profile, their headline, their picture, what message and first impression they're sending to the world every 3 to 6 months. Make sure that you're changing it up a little bit, A/B testing what seems to resonate. But for me, I think it's really just about not trying to sell yourself too hard, not trying to teach anything too aggressively on social media, but rather just letting people get to know you. For me, it's been these 30-second videos typically that, it's not a huge time commitment. So people that might be scrolling through their feed and see 30 seconds, they can tune into that. I always try to be very respectful of people's time, but it's all intended to get people back to my profile, and I try to optimize that. So hopefully that answered your question a bit, NESLIHAN.
Yes, yes. Thank you. Thank you, dear Corey.
Welcome.
And there is one more thing. I love to ask generally this question. Did you have any breakthrough and deep sorrow that you felt yourself, there is no way, but you again found your way, and how you overcome the situation? Would you like to tell those stories you want to share with us?
Well, I think we've all kind of, been to points in life that seem very despondent, and that things will never, emerge victorious on the other side. And I think I love to say that where attention goes, energy flows, and that expectation is everything. So for me, I think an analogy that I love is if you take a dark room filled with darkness and enter with a small candle, the flame, that light will chase all the darkness out of the room to all the corners, and eventually it'll dissipate. But you can't bring any amount of darkness into a well-lit room and do the same. And so I think at any given point, it's sometimes when we're at our lowest that we decide to let our light shine, or we decide to be optimistic, or we decide to put things in God's hands and say, whatever will be, will be. That's the will that I pray for, whatever resonates with people spiritually. But I think just expecting better, or even having the ability and foresight to believe that better is possible, opens so many doors energetically. I think especially when there's no real reason to believe it.
I think that's really good. And one quick question, Corey. This is YAVUZ Live from NTR television channel. In terms of one of the posts that you are actually encouraging people, if you are tired, get rest rather than quitting. Can you enlighten us and give us some more perspective? Was that statement coming from an actual experience? And why did you actually feverishly supporting this idea?
So it came from probably several dozen experiences for myself personally, but I think also now that I do coach and consult and advise and help other people, I see so many people give up right before their breakthrough moment. They say statistically, and I say statistically just to be silly, but they say 97% of everyone fails at the same exact point with their bright idea, and that's right before they ever start. So I think that so many of us, everyone on this call, everyone watching, has had great ideas that they didn't do something with, and some of those ideas could have made the world a better place. And I think just that little push, that extra step, that putting your foot in front of your body one more time and trusting that your next foot will follow, for me has just been, it's been life-changing for my career, for the entrepreneurs and for those that I work with, and even just on social media. I see so many people that Nestle and ABIR and myself, we all used to get a lot of engagement on LinkedIn when that was a little bit less common. And there were others that used to get engagement too that just stopped. And those of us that didn't now have hundreds of thousands of followers. And those that stopped, you go back and they're stuck on however many followers they had, then 12,000, whatever it might be. It's just that fortitude. And I think sometimes when we get depressed or we feel, as though things aren't going our way, it's really easy to stop, and you never know what will happen. I can't say, unless there's a pit of snakes 1 foot in front of you, I can't say there's ever been anything positive or productive to happen from someone stopping their dreams or giving up. And you can look at sports, you can look at the entrepreneurs. Elon Musk just surpassed a lot of people, second richest man in the world now, because he keeps doubling down on his ideas and not giving up. But I do think that post, I had a picture of myself, and I was actually testing the algorithm, just testing a still picture rather than video when that post went up. But I had just talked to one of the entrepreneurs I helped launch a startup and raise some money about that, probably the day that I posted that or the day prior. And they were thinking about giving up as well. And we just had a little pep talk. And that's actually after that is when they were able to raise some money to seed their venture. But I think just from my perspective and my vantage, so many times I've seen people that almost gave up that didn't. Every time it's been the right decision. And I've seen people give up, and it's always been very sad, including people in my circle that I've been a shareholder in their companies, or they've had a cap table and let their investors down. And so I'm just always about having people push through and see what happens.
Cory, thank you for your time. I know we are a little bit late because we couldn't see you at first. That's why we had a break. I would love to hear your last words, especially for youth, for millennials, and also all of us as a thought leader.
Absolutely. I think it might sound cliche, and I don't know that anyone tuned in necessarily needs to hear this, but I know that there are many people in the world that need to hear this. Believe in yourself even more. There is a doctor named Dr. Spock that said, trust yourself, you know more than you think you do. But I find that so often when people just decide that they can do a little bit more, decide that they're going to elevate whatever that means to them personally or professionally, that decision to want to up level, upskill, reach the next level is actually a lot more unique than a lot of people give credence to. And so those people that are just aspiring to that, or just making those moves to try to get to the next level, those are the people I'm always cheering for, always trying to help in any capacity. So I think just believing in yourself more. You know, we all believe in ourselves to whatever degree we do. Some think that that level is quite high, but I think, you know, just fine tuning by that 1% extra or more in some cases is the way to move forward together. And so a lot of us on LinkedIn love to say that together we rise, and we quote that a rising tide lifts all ships. But I think, you know, if everyone on this call were to try to get 1% more effective in whatever we do together, then this community would be unstoppable. So just believe in yourself more would be my words.
Yes. And I believe in you, Cory. Thank you for it and for being every time with me. This is so special for me. I appreciate you.
I appreciate you too.
Thank you. And we have Tony SELİMI also with us. And warm welcome, Tony. You are a wonderful leader. We are learning from you many things. And would you please tell us your leadership style, your book, your activities? You are so active. You have many followers all over the world also. Please tell us yourself, your leadership style, and your soul journey. What brought you to today? Voice. We can't hear Tony.
Can you hear me now?
Oh, yes. Yes.
First of all, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for this incredible opportunity to be part of the business exponential growth strategies, taking people from limited resources to unlimited possibilities with incredible leaders and speakers out there, and especially to YAVUZ and your incredible team out there. So my name is Tony J. SELİMI. I'm a speaker, multi-award winning author, filmmaker, and a life strategist. And as a business coach, I specialize in human behavior, the psychology of health, wealth, and extraordinary achievements. One of the things I've been doing for the last 8 years is to travel globally to consult individuals, 6 to 9 figure business owners, leaders, and businesses from all market sectors to facilitate the realization and the accomplishment of their personal, professional, business, and financial aspirations. Now, what I wanted to share in this symposium to help everybody who's attending, it's a unique code that took me 30 years to devise to help people create this extraordinary business and personal achievement. Why? Because we are born with this incredible potential to fulfill our wildest dreams, no matter what they are for the individual person. When you think what's been happening when the WHO announced a global pandemic, it sent a chilling, a wave of fear, uncertainty, and a long-needed wake-up call. The world started to shut down bit by bit by bit. But the truth is, no one saw it coming. No one had planned for such a global disaster. The economy crashed, borders were closed, people were put on lockdown. Companies up and down the world put people in furlough, businesses started to collapse. And reality is many of the leaders in the world were caught off guard, regardless of what we love to judge people for. And many, I would say, healthcare system around the world was put on the most significant test ever. Now,
Yes.
considering what kind of year we've passed, no wonder that billions of people are worried about their future. Many of people, even attending this symposium, will think about their families, because that's the first thing we think about when a disaster strikes. We'll think about their businesses, their teams, the hard work they worked for years to create, but also about everything else that holds a special space in their head, but also in their heart. And what I look about is how many of my global clients who start working twice as hard to get their business off the ground experience even more significant amount of challenges, stress like never before. And many people burn through their savings just trying to hang on. And some even turn to addictions and a lot of other mental health problems that will leave a trail like a comet across the humanity for years to come. Why? Because most people were caught off guard. No one was prepared. No one had a working plan for a catastrophe like this. And more importantly, no one ever imagined it will happen. Now, working and living without consistently upgrading the most tool that every human being has, which is our mind, our psychology, and not planning for eventualities, I believe it's the biggest recipe for disaster. And the coronavirus actually exposed that globally. It's a pattern that I've observed with every business I've worked and every individual who sought my help globally. Now, if we look into the real world, this is the amazing part of when we as leaders and speakers go around the world. We know in our hearts that no great monument is built or great city without having this agile mindset and a detailed plan that involved everybody who needs to follow to build such a project. And as I dig deep down into my clients' life, one thing I discover is they have a very scattered mind. They have a negative self-talk, have no will in place, and they have no plan for their life, nor for their family if something like this happens to them in their personal life, in their business. Now, similarly, when I consult businesses owners, the first thing I do, I go and do this review around the business. What is it, why they need to invest in this? What kind of problems, challenges they might be experiencing? And the reality, most of them have no adequate business plan. They have no clear strategy they can follow, no inspiring vision, which is in alignment with the kind of values they try to uphold and share with the society and with their employees. And they don't have even a working pitch that basically the employees can actually be the greatest agents for that business. Similarly, your child can be a greatest agent how good of a parent you are. And in every sphere of life, we all are agents of something. We all love to recommend, or we all love to judge or say something. Now, the pandemic also brought a lot of blessings because I'm a believer in every sacrifice, there is a blessing. And we had to rethink what matters to us the most. Wherever I've been traveling, when possible during the pandemic, people are starting to refine what is important to them, to their families, to their children, and how they can use their resources to best support that. So it is wise for everybody who's listening today to remind themselves it is what you value that shapes the future of your business and the kind of personal, but also financial achievements you want to accomplish. Now, the other things that many of us got from this awareness is of our internal and outer realities. Now, one of the most significant pieces of this vast human experience is to learn to harmonize those two different worlds. So, working in technology, I consistently recollect the times when we didn't have the sophisticated technology to sync external devices with central network and central computers, and the problems that it caused to sales teams, to the leaders, to the organization, to us, calendar, customers, shame, all of those things that cost tremendous amount of money to repair later on. So equally, when in our inner world, we are out of sync, this will create all sorts of problems. And most importantly, what I see is majority of my clients that I stop, the sacrifice is their physical health and emotional health, their mental health. But then that goes into leadership, goes into business, goes into the entire organizations. So I always recommend people to invest in the greatest asset any human being will have, and that is you. Why? Because without you, your world does not exist. And this is one of the things that I challenge every client that I have, no matter what kind of background, social background, financial background, famous, how famous they are. The reality is, if you are not in the picture, you don't have problems. So if whatever problems you have, the picture you're creating, it's simply a mirror of your mind. It is the reason I spent 30 years understanding the mind. Why? Because it's the engine of any reality you want to create, whether that's being great family, healthy body, or a thriving business that you want to do. Now, one of the things that we have observed, especially during the pandemic, is the most media channels make you buy into an assumption that life is challenging and that because we are going through a global pandemic, that it's all bad and that things are falling apart, crumbling, and we are in this doom and gloom cycle together. But the truth is, if you buy into this market brainwashing, you will end up adopting a false perspective of life that makes you feel angry, anxious, depressed, frustrated, hopeless, stuck, tense, and the list goes on. Emotional, I would say, revolution is happening at the moment, which most people do not pay attention to that. You know, while it is necessary for any of you to provide for the family, the emotional impact on you will create tremendous illness that later on, a lot of my clients spend the money for me to help them heal. Why? Because they forget about that in the rush of trying to do so many different things for the people they love, but also for the businesses they work extremely, extremely hard to create. And the truth is, this is precisely what happened to me in 1990. When I found myself fighting as a teenager in a civil war I deep down despised. So I was taken from university straight into the army, trained to be a soldier, trained to be a killer. Now, despite of the many, many adversities that happened in there, many learnings I got out of it, eventually my life was saved. Now, on one hand was safe, on the other hand, I ended up living homeless in London at the age of 20 with no family, with no money. I could not speak English. I had no network. I had no idea how to get my life back on track. Coming from a great entrepreneurial family and coming out from mom and dad and my uncles and my grandfather who built tremendous restaurant businesses, I grew up with that mental stuff. But also in my Muslim religion, I also grew up very spiritually. And also I wanted to learn the answers to life's greatest questions. This was since I was a kid, because there was so many inequalities in former Yugoslavia, in the society I was born into. Because if you are Albanian and on top of that you are a Muslim, you were nobody. So, you know, deep down, I knew this injustice. I just knew it. But not only to me, it was the same about the Gypsy communities. It was the same about the Turkish community in Macedonia. It was the same about every community that wasn't Serbian or Macedonian. Now, as children, we don't have those barriers in our head, but we do know when something does not feel right. So I dedicated, when I arrived in London, the next 10 years to get unstuck, get off the streets, learn how to overcome my greatest fears and all of those doubts about whether I'm good enough, and heal the pain that, like a virus back then, used to eat me inside out. I worked many jobs to pay for my education, have a roof over my head, and eventually in 1998, I graduated with honors from one of the top UK universities. And my life changed. So the next 12 years, I focused on building a very successful technology company, develop teams, deliver multi-billion-pound technology transformation programs, develop people, and continuously invest 10 to 20% of my income into working with some of the most incredible teachers around the world, because I had this thirst for knowledge, for solution, for serving, for helping every human being out there feel worthy. Because I had enough of other people actually telling me how good I am. Am I worthy to have something or not something? And even today, billions of people around the world feel unworthy to receive something, unworthy to be all they can be, unworthy to contribute in a society in the most authentic way. Now, the question, how can we consciously create an extraordinary personal and business achievement and unleashing our potential, so most people around the world can make a significant difference in the world, kept me inspired throughout this journey, through every pain, through every challenge, through every fear I had to conquer. So that forced me also, I love studying, and I studied many life disciplines, many courses, and also it gave me something unique. And what was that? Is a unique perspective on how to attain self-mastery mindset, how to grow spiritually in the most possible way, how to make a business successful from scratch, how to help people create the psychology and upgrade their psychologies so they consistently get the results they want. Not just they want, but actually give themselves the gift that God has given us. And the gift that God has given us is the gift of creativity, the gift of innovation, the gift of service, the gift of knowledge, the gift of curiosity. But also it's the gift of being able to heal our body inside out. Now, that kept me really inspired and still does in today's. And everything I've learned helped me get my life back on track. And by the time I was 40, I purchased 2 properties, built a career I love, and I went from living homeless, disempowered, to actually a self-made millionaire. And now this is where most of the things that we do, we never think about it. So back then, after I achieved all of this, little I knew that the fruits of my hard work would be short-lived, just the way they were for my parents when the war started. So in London and globally in 2008, we had the financial crisis, which forced many people out of their jobs, but also forced many companies to go down. And also the market crashed, and I ended up in negative equity. So from being this successful person, I went back, almost back on the streets after 20 years of hard work. And then I recognized a pattern that happened in my parents' businesses. Why? Because they didn't have the financial knowledge. And the planning behind it is to actually plan for every eventuality, including the war. Because even back then, I used to advise my parents to sell certain assets before the war to invest in countries around the world. But they believe that Yugoslavia will never be broken. And this is a belief, as much as it can be empowering, it can actually destroy you. It can destroy your future, it can destroy your family, it can destroy your health. So despite of all this achievement, all of my learning, once again, I faced redundancy and my greatest fears and uncertainty. And I was keep asking the question why, a question that's been following me since I was a kid, since I was hearing all those bullying and all those bullies and all these people who made me feel I'm unworthy as a human being. And the breakthrough came through every struggle, but especially during this time. So one night I stayed up all night, feeling sorry, crying, thinking of my family in the war, how I'm gonna give them money I used to. And in that night, I spent over £10,000 buying programs, online programs, to make me suffer less, to ease the pain I felt inside. And the pain wasn't really about me. It was about all the people I loved. It was all the people who suffered in the war, and all of my commitments I had towards family, towards friends, towards things that I was doing, including learning. Now, crying all night, eventually your mind quiets down. Eventually you start realizing many things about you. But what I realized truly was, it made me think how this person gave me a solution to all my problems, and while he was asleep, he made £10,000. And this is where I really promise ourselves that it's time to take back control. Now, right now, many people around the world are feeling exactly that time in their life, to take back control, to plan my life in detail and build my own business. And I remember I actually applied for over 1,200 jobs. And no matter what I was doing, nobody replied, absolutely nobody. And I felt in and out through spending time meditating, spending time going through everything I've learned and writing everything down. And the universe was showing me a whole different message that what I'm here to do. A message that I had since I was a child, but I never had the strength to actually articulate in a way the world will listen, in a way that will make a big impact. So I honored my inner voice, and I created my first 5-day program back then, and Vital Planning for Elevated Living, that I teach globally, a very customized program for solutions to my clients' problems, which to date I teach. And in the morning, after I did all of this work, I suddenly got a notification that somebody bought the program and I had money in the bank account. You know, it was the most empowering experience. And any entrepreneur here who's listening, they know, or a father or mother or professional, when you get that salary, it's an incredible achievement that you've made a difference. Now, there are many lessons we can learn from this, but one lesson I took is taking responsibility 100% of my decisions, of the income, and my choices that made me promise to never let the outer reality and outer circumstances dictate how I felt inside. Now, I kept investing what I was earning in further training, in coaching, in mentoring, working with some of the top billionaires in the world to train me, to bring this message to 1 billion people, and to unravel the mountain of value I was sitting inside of me. Because I believe with all of my heart, billions of people, every human being has a mountain of value, they just don't know it yet. And it is incredible for many of us out there as leaders, as speakers, to empower every person we come across to realize that value is there in them. That diamond that my father used to call me, it's in every human being. But it took me years to build the psychology, the mindset, the tools that now I can do that with other people. Now, this is also another promise I made myself. No matter if people work with me or don't, I want to leave them feeling like a diamond. I want to leave them feeling they are worthy 1 billion. Why? Because when you have such a hope, when somebody tells you that you are that person, even though if you don't believe it, you actually done most incredible service to that human being. You've planted a seed in their head. You planted a doubt. You planted a possibility, something that consistently growing up in a very spiritual family and entrepreneurial family, hardworking family, was there, but I never realized the power of it until I became an adult, until I became to teach globally. So this also led me to synthesize all of my 30 years of research, study, experience, and I ended up fulfilling my childhood dream, which was to publish a book, but not one, not two, but 3. And soon it's going to be my 4th book. So this created, I also created my trademark methodologies on activating this human potential in every human being, regardless if they work in the profession, regardless whether they are leaders, regardless whether you work as a doctor, it does not matter. The intelligence, the mind, and the brain, when they are in sync and in sync with the body, it can create anything you desire. So the question is, what do you desire? And how do you clarify the desire? So I realized that I had unlocked the doors of opportunity for humanity. And thousands started to write to me and share their breakthrough story as they read my story. And they read transparently who I am and kept reading books. And I kept a diary of almost 4,000 people personally sending me messages how what I've written, it was written for them, for that one individual. Now, not only made me cry, not only made me realize that little boy back from Macedonia that nobody knew, but it made me realize that dream that I had since I was a kid started to come alive. It gave me a whole different purpose in my life, a whole different service I never, ever could have imagined. But my mother, in 2002, after the atrocity of civil war, I brought them to London 98. And in 2002, before they left home, she actually told my father when they used to fight with each other, they said, my son will write many books and he will realize the dreams he always had and what we've seen about him. So that made me really cry. And as I started doing more works, serving more people, solving more problems, learning more tools to solve more problems, I ended up speaking at hundreds of events globally, including I find myself at the headquarters of United Nations in New York and delivering a speech in there about entrepreneurship and the power we all have. Then also I was picked up in New York to open the TEDx conference in Wilmington with my talk about technological Armageddon, the wake-up call. And this is about artificial intelligence, the rise of artificial intelligence, and what is it possible nowadays when we have, I would say, human intelligence and artificial intelligence merging, and how the society will evolve, how our values will evolve, how our way of working and being with one another will evolve. And then through all of it, from 2014 till now, I've appeared over 700 TV stations, radio stations, and also on many podcasts, sharing my learning and lessons for the benefit of humanity. So I even co-created with one of my business clients who saw the results of the methods that I teach in their business, in their personal life, with their children. And we co-created a documentary called Living My Illusion, The Truth Hurts. Now, the truth, it's one of the most significant liberating effects that we can experience. Why? Because throughout the lifetime, you hear so many lies from your parents, from your society, from teachers and everything else. And if we as children, we don't have the ability to have developed emotional intelligence, but also logical intelligence to be able to analyze the input that goes into our brain, which creates a false self-mind, which means, we will turn those lies we've learned into truth that we keep living and keep repeating, and then we keep becoming a fake persona, something I'm talking about in the upcoming book, The Unfakeable Code, coming up in January, because those self-made personas are not the individual, the authentic individual you were born to be. The authenticity comes from you learning how to reprogram consistently your mind. Because in the culture I grew up with, the majority of the people will finish a degree and that's it for them. They'll go to a job, that's it for them. They'll have family, that's it for them. So there's no continuous learning and growing. But then, everybody tells me, especially people who are extremely religious, tells me how God created everything and how nature consistently evolves. And then I turn around, so if we know all this knowledge, why we as people don't have a tool to upgrade this knowledge? Because nature does not stagnate, neither we do. But most people are programmed to think you are a person who basically, you learn something and you live by that. No, it's, although I read the Quran, although I grew up in a family like that, my basis even started with Quran, because the first word in Quran is read, to know something. Now, it does not say just read the Quran, or I want you to learn sciences, I want you to learn quantum physics, I want you to learn Christianity, I want you to learn everything that's been happening in society. Because true scholars, that's what they do. And why? Because an evolved mind creates an evolution and revolution in humanity. And that's been my calling since I was a kid. So So what I want you to think about it, if you allow the outer voices to influence you to the point where you procrastinate and only you make ends meet for yourself, you will never take command of your inner voice, the strength and the genius you were born to be. You'll be ending up to be at the mercy of the dominant outer voices of the society. You'll be swept along with a flock instead of becoming the shepherd of your own life and feelings, most importantly. Now, the principles I'm about to share for this symposium, I hope to inspire you all to create an alternative, efficient path for success, for service, for growing yourself and everything that matters to you. A way where you have the power to change your reality and create a shift in your perspective, but also in your feelings, and whatever the place you are right now, you can go further. You can go deep in gratitude and appreciation for your life. Now, each of these 7 principles I'm about to share, apply them daily. Why? Because it will get them into you, into an alignment with the vibration of attraction. The law of attraction, many people know, but what many people don't know, it's there's whole science behind the law of attraction that most people, if they haven't studied science, they don't have that inner outer alignment with the laws that govern life. And those laws that govern life are equal for every human being, but it's the mind in which the person perceives those laws that creates the realities people find themselves. So this will give you so much more granted freedom to fulfill your life, your mission, and whatever dreams people may have in this symposium. So the other part, which I truly realized, is no matter the approach to upgrading your psychology, growing your business maybe, growing your finances, it needs to satisfy some fundamental rules. And with my gig mind, my scientific mind, my spiritual head, my healer heart, I wanted to create a code like I've done in the Unfakeable Code that people can use. And so people can achieve those personal and business achievements and to accelerate the results they want to create. Because the one thing that no one can take back is the time you spent on the things that do not matter to you. So I want you to think about it. Is the time spent on the things that do not matter to you, to your future, to your health, to your family, to the service you want to provide for humanity. So let me start with principle number 1. And this is something that opened up my work globally. Always start with knowing the end in mind. Now, I ask all of my clients what that means. None of them can actually articulate to me clearly what that means to them. So what it means is assessing your inner and outer realities to create a map of what is out of sync, first and foremost. Then you clarify the beliefs, the behaviors, your values, your goals, your actions you need to take daily to realize whatever that mission, which is soul-driven mission, God-driven mission given to you for you to bring into the world, to materialize from a thought into matter. And true teachers actually know how to materialize that. This is what now I have become, and why these people, even my teachers, employ me to help them do that. Because thought, when you have the wisdom, you can instantly materialize, instantly attract, instantly change, instantly feel. But you need to be in that space within yourself that you allow it. Just the way, for many of you, you will remember when the first TVs came out, we had to go on top of the roof and turn the antenna where the strongest signal is. Nowadays, we don't have to do that. So equally, this code helps you become that. Now, number 2 is plan thoughtfully, very wisely, the kind of person, individual you want to become, the kind of business you want to have, the kind of service you want to bring for humanity, the kind of experiences you want to create as a result of your hard working. If your sales are set correctly, your business and personal life will not be shaken by the gales you would encounter every day, but will tell you where to go. Now, I set this sail for me 10 years ago. So the coronavirus, frankly, hasn't impacted me. It just, I transformed and adapted very quickly my business to be able to still serve people around the world. So I hope you set the correct sail for your life, for your business. Principle number 3 I would love to share with you is the importance of upgrading your psychology so you can navigate safely and successfully from one paradigm into the next. Now, a paradigm is a way we think, the way we do things, the way we approach things in business, education, in leadership, socially, family. It's a new model. Corona has brought us the awareness that we need to create a new paradigm for the future we're going to be facing now. And to achieve those extraordinary results, you'll need to think and do things differently. Now, if you do things the way you've done before, you're going to keep failing, and you're going to keep actually experiencing the pain that clearly it will impact every area of your life. So you will need the awareness and the knowledge to lead with certainty from a paradigm of the past to the paradigm of the future. That's what makes you incredible business owner, leader, teacher, educator, speaker. Number 4, don't expect results until you learn how to communicate, listen, and engage with others. Not in terms of what's important to you, but in terms of what's important to the other person. What is the pain your client, your person you want to serve experiences, and how your clarity and tools that you have can help them solve their problems. Now, this will help you create a presence and a great confidence with the people you'll be working. No matter the background, no matter where you are with these people, people will see through your authenticity. And through the presence you have with them, they will see you genuinely care to solve a big problem they have in their life, in their business. Now, you create tremendous respect like that. And you develop alliances and those who matter in your life. You attract them like, like the bees are attracted to the honey, or we are attracted, or the bears are attracted to the honey. But one of the other things that most of my clients I help is actually to master the art of negotiating. Now, communicating, engaging, listening are all important factors in the art of negotiations. And this, I've seen every time I've done this with clients, it helps them relax, it helps them be clear, it helps them be more productive, and actually they bring their objective thinking to seal a deal, which also creates a win-win-win situation. Win for you, win for them, win for the people they serve, win for the humanity. Now, most people who are unsuccessful, they'll buy a car without having an income. But smart people buy a car after they get a pay rise. Meaning, I always advise my clients, no matter what journey they are with me, if you're not going to go for bigger things, do not go for the bigger things without the money supporting that. So a wealth building, it's incredible skill to master. Now, the 5th point is have a clear plan that holds together your personal growth, your financial growth, your business growth, your family growth. So when you shift from one paradigm to another could be from Corona time into post-Corona time, but also can be from time when you are ill and you're not, because most people will be ill. Also could be time from where you reach a business, which let's say you made 100,000, let's say you made 500,000, let's say you made 1 million, let's say you made 10 million. Let's say you want to make 100 million. Now, when I work with clients at those levels, there's a massive shift in paradigm and in thinking for you to achieve those dreams, for you to create 100 million, 1 billion. So, I work with clients who are at the billion level and they want more. So, and that's where the clients go for the top, the experts. Why? Because they can help them create that shift in paradigm. And one quotes I love to share when I talk about this is Benjamin Franklin. And he says, it's like, if you fail to plan, you're actually planning to fail. And this has been my mantra for the last 30 years, from the moment I was crying on the streets to the moment now going globally and helping people. So things can blow in your life, and don't expect they never will. No matter who you are, you will always have challenges. So you'll get emotional, you'll get tense, you'll have your words or your mission may be easily misinterpreted. People will call it egoistical. You might become too big for yourself and become very arrogant. That's why when you have a clear vision, clear philosophy, and a clear desire from your heart to serve people, this will keep you centered and focused when mostly it's painful. And point number 6 is know what the bottom line regarding your leadership, your business, your personal life is. This will actually enable you to consistently make the right decisions and choices for every issue, for every problem, and for every opportunity you may encounter. And if you don't take those opportunities, someone else will. Now, most of people, I want to inspire you to think, what is your mission in your job? So if you're in a job, what is in your mission? What is that you value? How is those values are aligned with you? How they aligned with your family? Because if you have a conflict in values in yourself and your life is run by injected values, you will never, ever create the kind of potential I know you have. And number 7, extraordinary achievements require you to master the power of influencing people. And influence is defined as the, I would say, the capacity or the power of a person or the things to be compelling force to produce the effects you desire. So those can be through your behaviors, your actions, through your mission, through the kind of power you possess within yourself. Now, I wouldn't have had the chance to help the people I've helped globally, and I always dreamed of since I was a kid. In other words, when your success is on the line, I know what influence and what tools people need to get. Why? Because those 30 years of struggle actually helps you create those incredible, I would say, tools that can shorten the pain for other people. So many people falsely assume things about extremely wealthy, rich people. Now, all the wealthy individuals who sought my help did not build extraordinary life without a plan, without learning, without countless of failures. And I'm talking about failure after failure after failure and standing up again. And also having somebody by them to consult them, to coach them, to mentor them. So turning those failures into freedom. And freedom that sort of can help as many people as possible globally. Now, one of the persons I hold dear to my heart who has gone through those kind of massive, massive failures and also challenges from society being judged for who she is, it's Oprah. So if we take her example, she's famous and rich as she is because she has had one of the most watched television shows in the world. And that's true. But what exactly made that show so famous? That's a question that I wanted to answer. And there were, and still are countless of talk shows that came after her, but none of them became as successful as Oprah. And what was about her that made it stand above the rest? And the answer I came up, and hopefully you may want to do this, it is her. It is her persona, her individuality. So you see, no matter how wealthy or famous Oprah is, her influential ability enables her to have people who may be completely different from her to identify and connect with her. Now, this awareness came to me when I worked with a Swiss client to help them overcome drugs addiction and epilepsy. Now, the way the space I created, the client felt so open, so transparent to be able to share all their secrets so the healing can happen. Now, it is that influence of clarity and sincere desire to help my client that created a lot of breakthroughs for my client, that to date, they are grateful and we continue to do some other work. Now, Oprah does the same thing with everybody who brings on her show. She does not care where you come from. What she cares is the kind of story, the kind of challenge, the kind of message you have for humanity. So ask yourself the questions to clarify your story, the challenges, the lessons, and the message you have for the humanity. Now, whether you realize it or not, your ability to influence people will ultimately supersede your talents, your education, your knowledge, your experience, or any benefit you may bring on the table to that client. The reason is simple. To capitalize on any of those things, you will, at some point, need the help of someone else in your life, whether it's mentor, whether it's coach, whether it's father, investment, it does not matter. Whether it's educational people, psychologists, science, it doesn't matter. So what I would love to encourage you is to work with somebody for this self-mastery required in order for you to really create most incredible life. Now, the above 7 principles I shared are only essential steps creating these results. So pay attention to them and do those things that stop and see for yourself. Now, creating an extraordinarily personal, professional, business, financial life, they do not just happen. So delete that thought in your head. To be a master navigator of your life, you have to learn continuously. You have to practice continuously, and you have to update your skills throughout your entire life to be able to overcome challenge after challenge. And the greatest masters, they always overcome challenge after challenge. And I remember one of my mentors said to me 10 years ago, Tony, you will stand on the giant of the shoulders. And that experience that I've created now in this reality, for me back then was extremely unbelievable, unachievable. But 10 years of focused work, it's actually brought me to that level to help as many people globally. Now, many people have benefited from booking sessions with me, doing training, and to avoid costly mistakes, to avoid long-term pain, and develop a very elevated mindset, the emotional intelligence, and to create step-by-step business plan and strategies and development of their teams and their values so they can consistently evolve. Now, for those of you who are called to do something extraordinary in your life and business, for this symposium, I actually got a special offer for all of you who wants to take an action to become an incredible individual business owner the world calls you to be. So I invite you to take advantage of this special offer that I have for anybody listening, whether it's speakers, whether it's people who truly want to bring their work globally. So you can book by getting in touch with my PA, Alma, by sending an email info@tonyselimi.com and mention the symposium name, mention YAVUZ, and you'll get buy one, get one for free, which means you get 2 hours of breakthrough consultation for the price of one. Now that you know those 7 principles, the formula for fostering extraordinary results and achievement, it is up to you to sit down, clarify all of those things, what it means to you, to build a plan, and to align your inner and outer world with a strategy that will allow you to reach for your dreams, to remain relevant in the hearts and minds of the people you choose to serve. The new book is coming out in January 2021. It has been hailed as one of the most life-changing books to enter the market by Jack Canfield, by Brian Tracy, Dr. John DiMartini, and many of my famous clients around the world who are part of the book and part of the testimonial. I made sure that my 4th book has an upgraded psychology from my previous books, and to give you a lot of thought for your mind and food for your mind, to give you the abundance of information, tools, and strategies for you to align your values with the life that you want to create. And simply put, I recommended this to anybody, whether you're a parent, whether you're a child, whether you're a speaker, whether you're a leader. The things that I share in there are scientifically based, that applies in the way you as a human behave, act, think, so you can consistently bring the mind and the brain in alignment of the possibilities that your frontal cortex can actually create for you. And what makes you achieve the extraordinary results is something that I want to share, one final message, and leave you with that. Leave you to share it with the world, to embody it in your life, to share it with your family, with your children, that they are inspired, that there are people out there who start from zero and become somebody, and make these people be the heroes for their children, current children, children of the future, but also for humanity. So what makes you achieve extraordinary results in your personal, business, social, financial life? It's not defined by what you do, but by your ability to solve the more significant amount of problems and building lasting, authentic, loving, and trustworthy relationships.
Tony, can I ask one quick question?
Yes.
I know you for a long time. You are working with addicted people, and you have huge experience with this one. And all we are addicted to something in some circumstances. Some of them obesity and drugs and so on. So, according to your experience, which advice can you give us? Because for
Absolutely.
a long time, you have huge experiences, and I think all we are addicted for something, maybe for screens, for cars, or for anything. You can.
Absolutely. There is 2 sides to addiction.
Also,
now,
just I want you to mention for illusion that we are living in.
Yes. So there's 2 things that I need to mention. There's an addiction which supports you in creating tremendous empowerment within yourself that can actually make you a better human being. But there is the dark side of addiction. The dark side of addiction would be alcohol, will be drugs, will be smoking, will be anything that your body was not designed to have, or your brain was not designed for that. You know, so the dark side, when you think about, for instance, addiction towards sex, towards gambling, towards alcohol, those things can really destroy all of your hard work. Not just that, but as leaders, you'll destroy your, I would say, reputation in the company. It can affect the entire company culture. It will affect your family. It will basically stop people talking to one another. It'll stop you being, I would say, the love person you were born to be. Now, there's no quick fix to get rid of addiction. That's why I don't promise my clients that one session will do you. Why? Because your brain, you know, if the addiction, it's not something that happens overnight. The addiction is a collection of memories and collection of experiences that make people seek something outside of them to release the pain they feel inside. And most of my clients, they're not even aware what that pain is. But usually it starts by the person hiding in their psychology things they don't want to share with somebody else. Whether it's because they don't want to lose their family, whether because they don't want to go against the religion, which is a big, important part that I see across all religions, because my clients come across all religions, and I love working with people from all religions. That's why I wanted to study religions, so I can connect with my clients in an authentic way, in most meaningful way to them. So addiction, it's a process that people can go. Now, the 25 step of the TGSE method can break through anything. The question is, whether the client wants to commit to that, and whether they have the awareness, if they don't, the damage that will cause that in their life. So, for instance, if you take somebody with obesity, you know, obesity does not happen overnight. It's impossible.
ABIR, ABIR would like to go. That's why, would you please finish in 2 sentences, and we can give permission to ABIR also.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you very much for the reminder. So to completely answer your question, ALTUN, YAVUZ, it's basically there needs to be a will for change, and there needs to be a commitment for change, and there needs to be I would say, a continuous, because the psychology needs a new mind, needs a new information, and needs to dissolve all of the, I would say, one-sided perception of any experience. Most addicts believe that basically anything what they take, it's benefiting them. So there's a hidden side of the psychology that most human beings cannot. This is why with powerful question and continuous process, I get people to reveal the hidden truth. And the hidden truth is there's always positive and negative things to every experience, to every human being. So I want to leave everybody with one message worth sharing. You are unbelievably smart, intelligent, and a creator that can both create and destroy life.
Yes.
So much. Very great. Thanks.
Wonderful message. Thank you, Tony, for your time and everything you do. We appreciate you, and we would love to be with you again in the future with pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you so much, all of you.
May God bless you, and
God bless you.
bye. And sorry for our time limitations, and we would love to talk everybody. That's why I cut Tony's words, but ABIR has to go because I know her situation. I appreciate your acceptance to be with us here, ABIR. Just I want to share my gratitude, first of all, your all efforts for us. And as a lifelong learner, I appreciate all your shares, all your messages to us, and your voice and your calmness heal many of people around me. I can feel that. Even I feel that also with all your messages, with all your efforts and leadership. And you are a writer also. You are a teacher, so that would you please tell us what made you today's ABIR, your soul journey, and how you become the leader we see now?
Oh, that's so sweet of you. Good morning, everyone from Montreal. So, Nesli, thank you so much for this kind introduction and for this kind invitation. I'm honored to be surrounded by this lovely people. Guys, I know some of you, I don't know some of you. So it's a pleasure meeting every one of you. Well, let me admit something. This is my first time to join an event knowing that I'm not going to talk about education or teacher training with technology. And instead, Nesli asked me to talk about myself. And who doesn't, like talking about him or herself? It's fun, right?
Yes.
So I thank you from your strategies and your formal setting to kind of reflecting on my story. So overall, or generally, in terms of education and social science, we believe that there is one main factors that contributes in shaping each one personality, like Nesli's personality, Abir's personality, Yavuz's personalities, and we call that as an environment. And when we talk about environment, we talk about many other variables, such as parenting, culture, language, religion, people like kids in the streets, peers at schools, colleagues at workplace, and so on. So in general, whatever shapes each one of us personality is whatever we got the opportunity to be immersed in. That thing has to say or has a saying in shaping our identity or shaping us. However, for me, I'd love to say it's the experience that shaped Abir. And when I talk about experience, I talk about combination of the bad and the good. Both sides, both of them contributed in shaping who I am. And if I'm going to summarize that, I would start with 4 major people or events. And if I talk about them, I'd like to list them in sequential order. I start with my godfather, the person who raised me. Well, that guy was a true manifestation of leadership. He was so generous, kind, compassionate, fair. A person has the natural ability to sustain good relationship with all. And I grew up watching him and learning from him. So of course that inspired me and impacted me tremendously. Let me just give you a small story or incident that happened with me and him when I was a child. I remember once we were in London in early 80s and we were in our way from Hyde Park to our apartment. Can you hear me, guys?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, thank you. So back then in London, they used to have small white trucks in the street that sells ice cream. And of course, I was my daddy's spoiled girl. So as soon as I saw the ice cream, I started pointing like, I want that ice cream. And immediately he got one. It was like vanilla ice cream cone, like the one in McDonald's. We don't have to advertise, but it was exactly the same, I think 4 quarters or so. And it was wrapped with a small, tiny piece of tissue or paper. And I was walking in front of him, and in the back, my dad, my sister, and my aunt, I call her my mom as well. And it seems that I dropped the paper, or I threw it. And all of a sudden, I felt like a shadow coming near me or approaching me. And when I turned, I found that he was bending to pick that slip of paper. And he came to me and whispered while pointing at the people walking by our side, saying, Abir, Baba, what do you want the English say about us? That we are uncivilized, You are an ambassador of us. You are an ambassador of your country. You are an ambassador of the Arabs.
Yeah.
And he took 2 or 3 steps. Sorry, the trash can was just next to us. So he dropped the paper and we went. Since then, I swear, I never, ever have thrown a paper in the street. And since then, I am the ambassador. So just to tell you, the lessons that I used to have, from that person in a direct and indirect way, how it shaped me. The second event, I can say it's a major event, happened when I was 20 years old. And I learned that my son got an infection from the hospital. For moments, I felt helpless. What can I do about that, especially when you find yourself in a developing country? So, such life circumstances can either break you or make you. The choice is all yours. I chose the latter. And instead, I chose to pursue my graduate study in Libya. So after that, I can get a scholarship and study abroad. With that, I can provide my son with, better environment and whatever he needs. And I did that. And what I can say about that experience, it was tough. It was one of the biggest life tests. And it taught me how to be resilient in the face of negativity and hardships, and how to, cherish or see the true value of hope. And this is why after each video or message I share on LinkedIn, I say, stay always hopeful, guys, because I know the magic that having that mindset of being always hopeful, tomorrow will be better, situation will be better. This will alleviate you, change you, make you a better person. So that, of course, again, the same event led to my third major life event that contributed in shaping who I am. Because of it, I came to the United States. And let me share one of my favorite quotes about Charlie Tremendous. He said, "You are the same today as you will be in 5 years, except for people you meet and books you read." And as an add-on from me, I would say places you visit. And guys, believe it or not, the number of people I met in the USA, professional, professors, politicians, non-professional, hard workers, people from all, walks of life, they impacted me in an amazing way. When you meet with someone and teaches you something, you feel like, for me, I cannot describe it, but I would say I feel like spirit comes to you, like something. Like for each interaction, especially intellectual one, I get that feeling like something I got from that person, male or female. So with that, I would simply say I was literally reinvented in the United States. And of course, the fourth major event was again in the United States, and that happened after I earned my PhD, my doctoral degree from Washington State University, and I was lucky. Immediately, I nailed the job, and I, was awarded my dream visa, H-1B visa, which will qualify me to be American citizen. However, I worked for the worst supervisor that you can ever imagine. From my perspective, maybe not from others. And I don't know what to say, but what I want to say is something similar to what Khalil Gibran once said. He said, I learned silence from the talkative, and I learned tolerance from the intolerant, and I learned kindness from the unkind. And to me, and he adds, yet I am ungrateful to those teachers. And let me say, that experience, not that person, taught me a lot. It was only 5 months. That's the time I worked with him, but I learned a lot and I grew a lot. And I reached a moment to really appreciate the meaning of leadership. And from him, I learned more about leadership when I saw his incompetence. I started to appreciate kindness when I, experienced his unkind behavior and manipulative way. So what I want to say is that all of these experiences, the good and the bad, all of them taught me how to be more giver, kind, compassionate, to cherish the meaning of humility, to be humble. You know, when you fail, it's not a failure, it's a lesson. Even when, I don't know how to share it, but when you just graduate with a degree and for a period of 80 years you are working hard, to build a CV of professors, not students, and hoping that your dream will come true, and all of a sudden by one person, all that, like, it makes you feel like you did nothing. It teaches you humbleness. It teaches you how to relate to others, how to feel others, how to be a true leader, compassionate, kind, fair, and really sustain good relationship with all the top and the people who are coming from humble background. So that's in summary who made ABIR, or what made ABIR. Yeah.
Wonderful.
So I don't want to, I have more details for every section, but I think we are running of time. We're supposed to finish our session by 10:30 Montreal time. So guys, that's ABIR. So if you have any question, feel free to ask.
Just wanted to share my feelings with you. You are a natural leader.
Thank you.
I appreciate your efforts for youth, for all of us, and also Arabic learners. I am keen on your Instagram messages.
Oh, thank you. Günaydın. People of Turkey, günaydın.
Canımsın. Thank you for everything. And I know time limitations for all of us because we passed our time more than 30 minutes. And I know you have to be quick. Just want to ask one question.
Yeah, sure.
You told wonderful things to us, but especially for youth and for millennials, because they are struggling to not go out, to not meet with their friends, and they are leaving everything at homes with social media and some technical devices, mobile telephones, but they are harming each other. So in a tough way. We are learning many tough news from youth. They are just harming themselves because of those wrong actions. As a leader, what is your message to the youth, to millennials, and also their parents? How we can overcome those, especially suicide, committing suicide topic?
Yeah, this is a very broad topic. This is a very broad topic, Nesli. But well, I am surrounded by millennials who are doing amazing job. They are amazing. Actually, I am learning from them. They are inspiring me, and many of them, we have them on LinkedIn, like Mark Metry. I forgot the name, but I can see the picture. I'm a visual person. So they are doing great job. So if I want to say something, guys, social media is not really about socializing, okay? So be smart while using it. Use it in your benefit. And all that you see there is not true. Like, for example, when I speak to you, like, repeat after me. So this is not the way I speak. Like now when I speak with you, this is me. This is how I speak with my husband, my kids, my friends. But what we try to project and show, it's not always the truth. This doesn't mean like, I'm just giving an example. It doesn't mean that what I'm saying is not true. No, actually, I cannot say something if I don't really feel it and act on it. But like the people who are in five-star hotel is on maybe traveling from place to another on jets or whatever. I know sometimes I myself, like, gosh, look what I'm doing. I'm standing in my kitchen and look at here. You know, we live in this world of comparison, even though it's not true. You know, we need, like, this is a cup of water. We need to look at what we have in it, and we need to appreciate it. At least I have a cup, even if it doesn't have anything, I can fill it. You know, we need to go with this mindset. Imagine those who even don't have this cup. Yes. Let's stop comparing ourselves to others. Still, we need to look at others for inspiration. Like people who did really great job. We need that kind of motivation. Like if she did it, I can make it. You know, but this doesn't mean I need to compare myself. Never compare like a person in chapter 6 with someone that just starting in the introduction, chapter 1, maybe even didn't start chapter 1. So this is what I can say. Have this kind of gratitude, appreciate what you have. Especially those youth, the future is all yours now with, you know, the technology, the social media, the education, the online learning. You have everything that we in our age, especially me, I don't know, guys, you look young. I didn't have that. Like I'm like a digital immigrant. You know, I'm learning about technology. I'm learning, even though my major is technology, but it's still not like my daughter when she takes the phone, tick, tick, she does things that makes me, how come I cannot? You know, some features that I carry my phone for 2 years, I have no idea that they exist. But when she have it, immediately, like, Mom, you can do this one, you do this one. So that's amazing that these kids, they have opportunities, they have tools, they have resources that we don't have. They just need, you know, to use them the right way. And my advice to the parents, try your best to have more time devoted toward your family, toward your kids, because this is the absolute treasure. This is, you know, the right investment. Your kids, your time with your loved one, all is good, but not like the ones that really close to you. Yeah. I hope I answered your question so nicely.
Wonderful, thank you.
May I ask you just one quick question?
Yeah, sure.
It's just, you've been traveling the world. You are inspiring in so many ways and inspired by so many cultures. What is the common ground? What is the aspiration that you see in all the people you teach to in different ways?
Amazing question. Humanity, Laureen. Well, you are right. Since I was a child with this guy I talked about, it's another story. He's not my biological dad. He's my godfather. I was lucky that I traveled the world. Not the world, but to many European countries. Like I went to Greece, to UK, to Italy a few times, to Syria, Saudi Arabia, to UAE, before I come to the United States and now in Canada. Yes, that gave me the opportunity to see like what not everyone see. Like I am from Libya, North Africa. Libyan people think that they are the best. No one is better than them. Why? Because they are closed. They were in a shell for 40 years, you know? So it's all about them. But when you get the opportunity to go out and see other culture, try other food, see the behavior, interact with people, you get to the point to appreciate them, to see that they are, gosh, they are better than me. They are better than us. And I can learn from them. and I can give them something to make them even better. So what you already said is part of what I do. Like my major is language, culture, technology, and teaching. So we always try to find a common ground between us and people from other cultures. Even when I train teachers to teach English as a second language, well, English is not my native language, but this has nothing to do with methodology and best practices. So the first thing we always recommend is to get to know your student so you can relate to every one of them. It's important, like Ganaida, like today I have 3 Turkish people, so it's important to at least know one word in Turkish. You know, good day or good morning, so I can relate to you. So this is one of the things that we recommend teachers. Use Google Translator, it's okay if you don't know. Say hola in Spanish, say bonjour if you have a French speaker, say marhaba if you have Arabic speaker. In this way, kids, they feel more welcome in that environment and they feel more empowered, especially like if they are in Canada or the USA and they are coming from different background. You are expecting that these kids, maybe one day they will be part of the community. You cannot, you know, separate them from their heritage, from their culture, from who they are. For me, even though I came to the United States when, you know, I was in my 30s, almost 10 years ago, I would admit that I kind of lost my heritage. I immersed into the American culture that I need to make conscious effort, you know, to relate to celebration, events, things that we used to do in Libya, in my home country, you know, and that by itself made me like it's a priority that we empower these kids when they come to the class. Celebrate who you are, celebrate your heritage, and whenever there is an activity or something for teaching English as a second language or whatever, it's important for teachers to find anything in that content so kids or students can relate whatever they have into their past experiences. Past experience, it could be culture, it could be something else, but relate to them. So yeah, so to come back to your question, if there's something that unites all of us, it's humanity. Yeah, we are all a human, we are in diversity, in the diversity, the different accent, the different languages, the different, you know, I don't see like we are different races. No, we are one race, but the different, like the beauty, black, yellow, white, combination of both. It's beautiful. It's like when you go to a garden, you know, imagine that you enter a garden and all that you see is gardenia. It's beautiful, right? It's beautiful, smells nice, white and green. But imagine that you find the rose, the gardenia, the tulip, it's even more beautiful. And this is why now, like there is not now, long ago in developed countries like Canada, many countries in Europe, in the USA, they try to recruit immigrants because they knew the value of having that, you know, mixed and mosaic and structured, you know, texture of whatever they have. So it's a humanity, what unites us.
Thank you.
Pleasure, dear.
Dear ABIR, I appreciate all you are doing, sincerely, and thank you for being with us. I can talk with all of you till the morning, but our time is limited just now. I talk again in the
Thank
next.
you so much, Mrs. ABIR, for your attention. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
We are so happy for your attention. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Okay, so okay, before I go, let me start seeing Robin. Robin, I appreciate that you gave me your place.
No problem, no problem. My pleasure, my pleasure.
But I know that you are going to talk about leadership, and I'd like to learn a little bit about you.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, there's a game changer, Robin Booth. and we talked with him on LinkedIn. I learned from him many things, dear Robin Booth, and I appreciate all you are doing. You are many people love Turkey when they visit, but Robin loves Turkey with his heart. Always go to some touristic places and make long travels around Turkey so that he knows our culture. Beyond everything, Robin supports many people like he does. He's a real game changer. I appreciate all your support, dear Robin, and thank you for being with us today. So, I would love to ask, first of all, you always encourage all of us, and what is your soul journey? How you decided to be the Robin we see now? What is the story?
Yeah, thank you very much for having me. It is a great pleasure and honor be here with you. And Nesli and YAVUZ, thank you very much for inviting me. And it is really amazing to be among you, you leaders, you influencers, and with the whole world here. And a warm welcome here from Holland. It's afternoon here. First of all, I'd like to thank as well all the people that supported me, mentoring me, teaching me, and introducing me in the world of big organizations, and the teams that supported me on my journey and in my career, as well in the consultancy, coaching, and mentoring. That is one of the first parts of my journey. But the second one is really game-changing. It was, I guess, spring 2014, and that was really a game-changing moment. I was triggered by how the brain was working, how you can have a different mindset, and that really kickstarted me for looking into personal development, reading books, watching YouTube movies, and starting to develop myself. It was really a journey for myself, and it started with personal leadership, what is important for me. And I started to kickstart a mindset, how to get better every day for all elements in my life that I thought it was important. So it was really a journey for me, that a long journey, and it was going back and forth. What is really important and what should I prioritize in my life? So for me, it worked out. It was my inner compass that it is really in a certain order. It is happiness, it is health. Furthermore, it is spirit. How do you develop your mind and your being, but being successful among successful people as well. There is a financial part, and there is a part of status and vanity. But if you have a clear compass in your life and you know what is more important, life is very easy for you. And it is really a journey. And I must say the journey is not ended, because you learn every day and day. But as well, I start to realize that having a purpose in your life, a mission, and know where to go, where you want to go with a clear vision and goal, it is very valuable for each person and organizations as well. So at that moment in time, in 2014, I started my own platform, writing the stories, promoting the stories, broadcasting the stories. And I wanted to share this formula, this philosophy with the world. And that is as well, if I can recall and remind Nesli, when we met and we had the conversations, the dialogues about life development and having a clear purpose. And that is how everything started. And Tony already said it as well. And then the next one comes in place, the law of attraction. You attract the people that where your mind is at that moment of time. If you have a clear focus, if you have a kind of topic that is really in your head and in your mind, you start to think and focus on that. And then automatically, like a magnet, those kind of topics will be attracted to you. And that is really, that has brought me today. And that is the amazing thing, that I'm here amongst you at the moment in this amazing, incredible event at the moment, Neslie.
Yes, yes, it's so great story, success story for all of us. Thank you for sharing with us. And you are a mentor, great mentor, and you are making consultancy to great companies. And we are passing through so special times, especially nowadays. What is your opinion, your ideas, your thoughts about how should organizations and businesses act and respond in a game-changing situation like we talk about COVID and related situations? What is your thoughts about this?
Wow. Yeah, we are really in all together in a very strange situation at the moment with COVID-19. It is not normal, and it is different than a smaller crisis. But the first thing what organizations must do is stay calm. Stay calm, observe, analyze, and reflect. Outerly, outside the company, and after that in the company itself. But first of all, they must see what is the environment doing, what is the consequence on the environment, on the economy, and what is the customer doing at that moment of time. What is the customer doing, what are the governments doing, and the competition, for example. And they must at least sit back, reflect, and what is going on. At the other side, in parallel, they must really look into themselves, in their internal organization. What is our mission? What did we had as a strategy? And then I'm looking as well to other speakers. Lorraine, you are in an agile world, and at least what you must do, what I can say, if there is a game-changing event and you walk the direction that you had in mind and that you already had drawn, you will go into a dead end, because the elements are changing at the moment. Your environment is changing, so you must have the awareness and the flexibility to make a choice, and to be agile enough to make a different choice. And a lot of big companies are not able to be that agile to have a different course at the moment and to respond to the market. So, but first of all, in this situation, you must reflect what is going on at the moment in the world. Where are we standing for in the organization? What is our mission? What did we want to accomplish? And what is changing at the moment? And a lot of companies did an operational risk situation because they did not know what was going, what is the effect on our business at that moment of time. And initially, and from an instinct point of view, they start cutting the budgets, going into the cost reduction, at least to be in a safe situation. But at the other way, there were companies with an open mindset and already thinking, okay, the world is closing down, but what is the need of the customer now? So they were already thinking, oh, everybody is working from home because we have quarantine and a lockdown. So we are going to sell monitors and home desk space. And this is really booming at that moment of time. And they had the courage and the flexibility to hop into that new development, what the world of today and the customers of today are needing at the moment. And the funny thing, and in relation to that, I heard and I read already at the moment, the first baby boom, babies are already born based on the corona, and that started, let's say, a year, 9 months ago. But some companies could already predict, and it is common sense, that the baby boom in a crisis is coming. So there are already companies, for example, really on the baby market, and yeah, they already reacted on the situation as soon as possible, flexible as possible. So what I wanted to say, first of all, stay calm, observe, analyze, reflect outside and inside, and make a choice and stay close to the identity and the authenticity of the company. If you are not a risk taker and the people in the nature of the customer is not really risk taking, then stay close and observe and try to mitigate. Otherwise, if you have a more daring strategy or a nature, go and look into the possibilities of the world and make at least a choice that you can monetize the development in the environment.
Yeah. So what about leadership? What is the role of leadership in this situation? How do you see generally you are with leaders?
Yeah, as well, and that is in relation what I said with the companies, because leaders, most of the leaders, executives are leading those companies. Stay calm. And the funny thing is, from world leaders, I have really learned that as a leader, as an executive or a CEO, you are working with strategies, you are connecting the past into the now, into the future, what the dot on the horizon is, for example. But if you have a clear strategy and your shop is on fire, like in COVID-19, really the shop or the company is on fire, at least the first thing you should do is, okay, fight the fire at that moment in time. Come down from your ivory tower and together with the organization and the people, fight the fire. And if it is in a certain way under control, then leave it to a specialized, trusted team that can handle it, and then go back into the big picture and what this fire, for example, means into the big picture. So first of all, you must have a stable, you must create a stable situation. Secondly, you must have a story. You must be transparent and honest to the people. What is going on? What is the effect? What are the consequences? And what are we going to do? What is required at this moment? So you need clear communication. As well, when your shop company is on fire in a crisis, for example, you must make fast decisions. You do not it is not the way to hesitate or do not make half situations. Really, you must be decisive and make fast decisions. As well, you must have clear communication, information, and a strong voice. As well, at the same time, you must listen to the people, what is going on. Empathically, you must listen to them, and at least you must give them the empowerment and guidance to come out of this crisis and at that moment of time, based on the strategy that you choose.
Yeah, yes. I wonder how important is to have a vision in a growth strategy. You know, even if many leaders are aware of it, they quit visualize or to develop vision.
Mm-hmm.
What's your observation about this?
Yes, apart from the growth strategy, it is of course a vision itself. When I look back, let's say in 1971, when we are going to Florida, when there was the opening of Disneyland at that moment of time. It started in Florida, Disney, with the Animal Kingdom. And I do not know the story itself, and the story itself is not clear. But at that moment of time, one of the board members looked in 1971 to Roy Disney at that moment of time. And he was really telling Roy, it is really sad, and I'm almost crying because Walt is not able to see this. And Walt passed away at the 1966. So his whole dream and vision, he couldn't make that. And Roy was a little bit surprised and wonderly and a little bit dazed. And I looked into his colleague, the board member, and he said, but this is exactly how Walt has visualized it, how he has envisioned it. And this is what Walt has seen. What I'm trying to say is, a leader sees the world of tomorrow already today. So he is already in mind how the future looks like, and it is up to him, and it is up to his role as a leader to draw this picture and to envision this picture to the people and to the world around him. And then it is his job and his role to guide and take the people, the company, to that dot on the horizon, to that envisioned picture. And the vision should be so clear as possible, really as detailed as possible. And if you really drill it down, it must be cut down in measurable goals. And then the total, because the answering the question, how important is it to have a vision in a growth strategy, together with the total package of having the company's vision and purpose into the strategy, bringing the company from the world of as today into the vision of tomorrow, based on the values that the company has. Yeah, it is the backbone of the company. It is really the backbone of organizations.
Yes, yes. We know we do some time to time SWOT analysis. What is your opinion, your thoughts about strengths and weaknesses with exponential grown organizations?
Yes, that is very interesting. And I'm looking at this moment to the picture in front of me of Lorraine as well, and Tony, and they really triggered me based on the agile mindset and the companies of today. If we have a situation, and I take the example of COVID here as well, you must really react fast in certain situation, or as a startup, you really must know the customer, you must know what your contribution, your product and services are, and you must deliver fast. You deliver it to the customer, you test it, you see his reaction, and then you do another version from a minimal viable product, the MVP, for example. You deliver, you see, for example, how it is taken by the customer, and you do it again. You deliver it, you make a better version, and you deliver a newer version. And that is really a process. It's a fast process, and you can deliver very fast to the market. The other way around is, and then you are looking into the weaknesses, for example. I know a lot of companies and a lot of startups really like that environment, because they have a kind of cowboy feeling. They can deliver fast. They have a very fast value for the customer. But if we are taking it to the next step, when the organizations are getting bigger, or at least we are already to version 10.3, then there come other elements in place. For example, then you are talking, okay, but it is good to deliver, but have we already thought about returning process? Have we already thought about documentation? Then suddenly the process is coming in place, the manuals coming in place, and what you see, and that is a certain weakness. Companies want to continue, want to grow, want to act fast, but sometimes they forget the structure that a company needs to have in place for the procedures, the RASIC, what are the responsibilities, the communication, and last but not least on this one, if we are growing very fast, for example, you are going from a company for 5, 10 to tens to hundreds, what about the people? What about the culture? What about the values? It is very often that companies are running, and suddenly they say, we do not have, what is our culture? What is our identity of the company? And that is something that organizations must reflect as well. It is not only the customer running, but okay, what is the identity of the customer and what are the values? Is everybody still happy? And what is, and here we come back to strategy, what is more important, the customer or the employee, or is it something different? And that is my opinion on growth and startups and organization in expansional growth situations. Yes, they can in the beginning going very fast and deliver very fast, but there comes a moment that you must have a mature organization for a sustainable future.
I see. So, what are your key points about executing in exponential growth strategies?
Okay, you must be decisive. That's for sure. You must always be in touch with the customer because you must deliver value. And what I said, you must have a sustainable view on your organization. The organization must be sustainable and built for the future.
I see. Thank you. And it is always wonderful to listen to you, to learn from you. And I love to ask to all leaders, what do you suggest to all millennials and youth to be better leaders and to be better professionals in their lives?
Yeah, I must say the leaders of today, the grown-ups, we must really learn to listen to you millennials. Let's put it like that. I know you are raised at this moment in time that before COVID, you had a very good economic situation and you had high demands of yourself, and the world was really putting you onto pressure because the situations were very good. So you were on a certain pressure. And I know a lot of you are in a small depression and maybe a burnout because there is a pressure on you because we give you the feeling that the world is leaning on you because you are the future. But my message to you is find your purpose, really find your purpose and do whatever you like. And do it with passion and find something that is where you are really passionate about, and where you are interested in. And from that point of view, find your drive and find your passion and keep doing that. And that is my biggest message to the millennials at the moment. Be the person you want to be, do what you love and do it with passion. And most important is enjoy it.
Yes, and dear Lorraine, do you have any question to Robin?
Yes, I have a question because how would you find your purpose, especially in this time where experimentation and engage and being involved in different projects is not possible?
No, it's a very interesting question, and I'm afraid I can talk weeks about this topic, so I must really keep it short. No, finding your passion can go both ways. Finding your passion is really, and it can be very small. It can be very small. Where are you interested in? And it already starts with that. Where are you interested in? And what gives you energy, what makes you smile, and that is most important. Just do the things you want to do. How can you fill your weekend, and what do you like to do? And it can be that you're going out in nature, or it can be that you are really very engaged in global heating or climate, for example, and at least keep attached and engaged to that one. And if you really put all the time and effort into it, and there the law of attraction comes along, you will surround you with people with that kind of interest, and based on that one. And that is why we're here. We are the game changers, we are the leaders. Only together we can change the world. But most important, dear Lorraine and everybody, it must come here from the heart, inside out. Leadership starts from within.
Yeah.
Robin, I have a quick question, Nesli, with your permission, for Robin. I'm really impressed with what you presented. This is Yavuz Sılay from NTR TV, which is broadcasting to 900 million people across Africa. So when did you decide, Robin, that you will call yourself a change agent, and why?
That's a very good one. And it already starts with if you want to change the world, for example, if you want to make something happen and if you want to change as well, it comes, what I said to Lorraine as well, it comes from within. It is only when you lead yourself, when you are really pure, you find yourself, your own purpose, if you are really sane with yourself, then you are able to help the world and change the world. So from that point of view, leadership starts from within, and changing the game and changing the world can only start and being catalyzed from yourself and from within Yavuz.
But what if everything stayed the same? Do you think it will be better? Why do you prefer changing versus keeping it as it is, you know?
That's a very good one. That's a very good one. What I think from a leadership and a business and growth strategy point of view, you must be innovating, because the world is changing rapidly at the moment. And as we are speaking here, a new development or new product or service can already be at the other side of the world. And at least, and there we're coming to social media, you must be aware with your trusted people what is going on, and you must respond. If you do not respond and you are very ambitious, then you are already behind. And if you are not doing it, your competitor is doing it, your neighbor is doing it, or somebody else is doing it. So that's why, at least from my point of view, you must go into the flow and the pace of the world.
Excellent. So if you don't change, you perish, basically, right? That's the idea. You have to change and also catalyze the change. Is that correct?
Yes, that's for sure. At least it is not that you must change every day or every week. At least you must reflect. You must look what is going on in the world. And then from the point of view and the authenticity and nature of your company, you must say, okay, I feel good about it to go on this flow, yes or no. Or maybe from your purpose, your mission, you say, okay, this is not my train, let another do it, and I take the next train, for example.
Thank you so much. I'm really grateful, and we really appreciate your time. Thank you so much, Robin, for being such an inspiration.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Mr. Yavuz Altun, would you like to ask question to Robin, or?
Yes, Mr. Yavuz already asked instead of me same questions, or we passed our time limitations. Thank you for your great presentation, Robin. We are so happy.
Okay, it was my pleasure, and it is amazing to be amongst all of you. Thank you very much. And what I tell Nestle from time to time as well, it is only you all together and the world around us that is inspire me as well, motivating me. So your voice and all your responses are really triggering me and catalyzing me. So thank you. I'm really grateful.
Thank you, Robin.
All we want to show, we are family together. There is no differences between us.
Absolutely.
Just we need to support each of us. Thank you so much for your great contributions and support.
Being with us. I appreciate all of you, all you do, all you are doing. And now we will keep going with GÜLŞAH and also with guests who are available with us. GÜLŞAH found me.
Hello. Hello, everyone. I'm so pleasure and really excited being with you. It's really very evening in Istanbul and saying hello around the world, humans and leaders also. I've learned everything in 4 hours, around 4 hours we are together. And I decided to change my mind in some points in my life also. It's really good to be in here with you. You are going to be a light before this live session. After this live session, I'm going to follow you as passionately as before. So I'm being in here for a guest of one of the maybe tiny leader now, but will be a great leader. This is my plan, the future plan of me, and with NESLIHAN and YAVUZ leaderships also. And I'm being in here for digitalism in your life, in our life, the technologies, new technologies, the awareness of now, the software developers and new products, not the startups yet, but they also the developer companies and their products that we use now, and how to grow our sector, grow our lifestyle and change. As you know that before COVID, we didn't also aware of something about maybe about our phones. They are like a spaceship. We're trying to explain in our presentations in our company that you have a phone and you can reach around the world. You can earn money into it. You can touch people whenever you want. But you know, some people also after COVID, people get aware of this after some months later. And before, at the beginning of the COVID-19, we started to present much more, much more often about how do we use the technologies, how in our lifestyle, first of all, then to our sectors, our companies, also our jobs. So I named myself as a tech coach. So I saw that in some fields of also the software developers whom are really junior or newly graduated from their school, they are not enough to take care of a big projects, also very big companies projects. So we accompanied with one of my close friend whom is marketing professional, and we decided to sign the people whom are professional on their fields in technology and software, from artificial intelligence to the XR system, which are virtual reality, augmented reality, how to use them, about our digitalism and digital transformation in our lives, and also our plans, our brands, our lifestyles. So we saw that there are so many people who are behind us, even the companies, because they would like to share with us their bad stories about the developers, companies, or developer freelancers. So we make a plan about sign the good one with their references. And if you have any problem in your, for example, in your project, or in your project, in your mind also, you know, some of the technology and software programs are limited now. It's going to be developed day by day on future. And if you have a, for example, project like going to Mars, for example, it's not easy now. It's not touchable. It's not to getting, you know, making something real. So we direct them gently, the brands and also the companies. Okay, we couldn't go to Mars now, but we can bring the Mars to you into virtual reality. So we show the solutions about the technology and software. So we bring the Z generation. This is the Z generation time also. Millennials, okay, we are getting older, but this time is Z generation. So they are so much aware of the digitalism. They born with their fingers, and they know how to use WACD. Do you know what is WASD? It's something that you can move on the games. They are not baby boomers. They are not millennials. They know how to get tweet, how to get into Facebook. What's the meaning of Instagram? They know social media. They are accustomed to also phone cams. For example, I'm thrilled now. I'm so excited now because I'm not accustomed to it. But bring a 5-year-old child, or for example, 19 years old, 90 years old person, bring in here, put the cam on live, he or she can talk very fluently, very trust herself or himself, and go through. But we say to the brands, okay, look, they are gamers. They know what they need. So behave like this. You can touch this kinds of Z generation with these software programs, with these technologies. So combine them and touch them and reach them, because they are not your future of customers. They are your now customers. For example, we are touching in you in this Zoom platform. It's easy, but there are so many immersive platforms that you haven't touched yet, but the Z generation touched, and also sharing their information, being relationship with, and also get some friends there, and learning some languages into this immersive, what we call it, metaverse platforms. We stuck on Zoom, but the next generation, Generation Z, is coming, and also there are so many platforms we can use with brands. Also, maybe there are so many avatars whom are not flesh and blood. They are just 3Ds, and they are influencers on Instagram, also YouTube's, and they have 2.3 million followers, and also brands like Louis Vuitton, Chanel, Adidas, they use them. They use them and reach the Generation Z with them, via them. So we should be aware. In my company, as a GÜLŞAH AKIN, as a tiny influencer for you, I'm saying that you should follow the digitalism. This is not millennials time, this is Generation Z time, because COVID-19 bring us to us. So we should aware, for example, I'm presenting something before COVID, the brands or some companies saying it's too much future for me, GÜLŞAH, it's too much for me. After COVID, they called me, GÜLŞAH, what are you telling about us? Could you bring the presentation us again? We would like to touch it. We couldn't selling something because we couldn't open our physical market or physical store. How about virtual store? How do people can touch it? How can I sell my products? So then this is our time. This is our virtual connection time. So we are going to accustom to it. So we are going to, this COVID-19 never ends also. It's going to be maybe 5 or 6 years it takes. Maybe, we don't know, because we didn't know also COVID-19. We accustomed to it, to live with it. And then we try to make a new world with physical and also virtual world together. So we can touch the Generation Z and the other generations all together. That's what I'm saying, that as a GÜLŞAH AKIN, I connect the best, and also I call them superhero developer companies, whom are AI, artificial intelligence, to Internet of Things, IoT, blockchain, also XR systems, whom are very professional on their field. I can connect with brands and people and projects whom would like to be professional and move forward on their generations, on their future. And now also, people not aware of what they have also now, what they have as a, for example, as an app, what they have as an technical and also technological in their life. So I put them, put another window to look through into it, and let's see the world is easy to touch and earn money from people and get in touch to people. Thank you so much. This is all. If you have any questions, I'm really appreciate to answer them. I would.
As I understand, GÜLŞAH, from you, you are translating physical world to the digital world.
Yes.
So people who is dreaming more, maybe you can use your platform,
yes,
to achieve their dream. So when you see the reality, it is much more place. You can create much more place to go your dream.
Yes, not just platform, as I'm saying before, not just the platform. Just for example, what technically technology and software programs you need. I can sign the right developers, companies to you, and also bring their work to you, and you can choose them on their references. So then your project is going to be real from bottom to the top point. All of the process of the project, I'm with you also, because some of the developers, many more developers wouldn't like to get in touch with you on physical, on digital also, with brands or project owners. They have a different kinds of language, and no one can understand pretty. So I understand them because I've been working on technology around 5 years. So they are my friends. Also, brands are my partners' friends. So we can combine all of them together and make a good relationship altogether.
GÜLŞAH, I have a quick question with YAVUZ and Nesli's permission. I'm very impressed with your presentation. First, thank you very much for enlightening us. As a technology coach, what you're doing is extremely important and very valuable, especially during COVID-19.
Yes.
What I'm trying to understand is the generations that you mentioned in your speech. I'm from Generation X. I was born in 1975. And you mentioned especially Generation Z. And when you're analyzing the traits in terms of UI, UX, and making sure that you are connecting these different generations based on the brand needs, what type of data analytics tools are you using so you can really understand the customer behaviors and connect them with the brands?
The behaviors, yes, you are talking about the big data and also artificial intelligence.
Based on each generation, like some may spend more things more, they may like different things, or the way they communicate is different, or the way they accept a brand, or the way they develop habit is different. Even their language is different. So, but I'm very curious, like when a customer comes to you and say, GÜLŞAH, build my brand strategy, connect me with this customer. How do you go back to each of these generations? Are you doing like a Facebook kind of review of like searching special areas, age limits, gender type data analytics? Do you get from Google? Do you use some other analytical tools? Do you have any tools that you have developed personally or as a company?
Yes, it's a good question. So I'm not a technical one to answer it. First of all, if we get a brief like you, like yours, we bring this brief to our technical partners whom are working for artificial intelligence, whom are work for IoT maybe, because every phone has an IoT also.
Of course.
And also we are talking with big data owners, big data professionals. So we bring all these teams all together and we're saying this is our brief from our customer. So what can we do? Or or one of our customers come to us like a fire project, for example, okay, or an earthquake project, okay. How can we solution about this? How can we make awareness of whole of the country? How can we use this awareness with digitalism? So we get the brief and share with our whom are professional about this. Then we get the answers. Then we make a good presentation. So this is our steps, and bring and also we make some quotes to them and bring the offer to our customer. So if it's deal, we start the project one and to the end point altogether.
Excellent. So it's really a teamwork based on the analysis. Then you plug in big data teams or IoT teams and others. Thank you. Thank you so much, GÜLŞAH. Greatly appreciate it.
Me too. I'm so excited. I'm so sorry about it, but it's really good to be all of you all together on this tiny screen also.
Thank you, Session.
GÜLŞAH. And dear Lorraine, if you have one question, you can ask, then we can come to conclusion because we exceed our time. I'm not aware of the time, but we exceed the time.
Yes, of course. I have a question about the Z generation. It seems to me that they are going to change the job market landscape.
Yep.
And also our way to manage them in our companies.
Mm-hmm.
How can we prepare for them? What can we expect? What do you want for them to happen?
So, as far as I understand, what's the reflection about from there to get them? How can we get them? How can we reach them to Z generation?
Yes, for example, when we saw the millennial come into our companies, we had to adapt to their aspirations.
Yes.
Like, I don't know if you remember, but when we signed our first contract, we were right on time. We worked hard. We were fully dedicated to our job. And now with the millennial, we had to adapt because they want to have more balanced life. They also they don't have long-term involvement in companies. So do you think, and it seems like the Z generation, as far as I know, but I need your advice, is different from the millennials. So what do you see? And how can we prepare for them to come?
First of all, you should take a look to the games. For example, like Roblox, for example, like Riot Games, League of Legends. You should know them just a little bit. You don't need to play them, but you should know them because they are into these games. They are talking into these games. Just to know, for example, GTA, for example, Minecraft. You should know. For example, you should know what's the Twitch. Why the Twitch or Discord? Why do they use it? Because then you can try to touch them. You can understand their point of view, also their behavior, being a friend, being something together. So because, for example, Riot Games, on the start of COVID-19, around April, they made a concert into Riot Games, and it's around 9 minutes of concert. And maybe also you can check before our live session. In 9 minutes, around 14 million viewers into 9 minutes. Viewers watch this concert in Riot Games. Riot Games because Riot Games opened this concert into the game. Then Roblox, in around 2 weeks ago, Roblox made a concert into the Roblox. One of the very well-known singer around the world. It's watched around 10 million children, teenager, also gamer on real time. If you wanna touch them, you should understand how do they live, how do they would like to enjoy their field. For example, Robin said, "Do what you like." They love game. So the life is a game for them. So we should behave playing a game, and we should know some phrases, some words about the game.
Yes. Thank you.
Anytime. I'm here. You can touch me anytime.
It was wonderful day, even if
Yes.
technical issues, some voice issues, and also some quality of visuals maybe. We say in Turkish, sürçülisan ettik ise affola.
We are so sorry about nothing.
We are sorry if we made any mistake, accept our apologies. It was wonderful to be with all of you. Thank you, Robin. Thank you, Lorraine and Mr. Yavuz. Dear GÜLŞAH, I appreciate all of you. Dear Mr. Yavuz, ALTUN, would you like to say a few words when we are closing the first day?
It is so late. All we are family, we are together. Just I want to say there is no differences between fail and success. Who is the second one? Second one is the first one after the first one. Who is the third one? Third one is the first one after the second one. Only the differences between fail and success. Who is getting success? He is trying to more to fail. Just all of our speakers, as we see, they have up and down and deep down. So at the end, if you have vision, you can go up and up. Thank you so much for listening to the late hours. So sorry for beginning. We have lots of technical problems, which we didn't expect. Even 2-3 weeks we were testing, but
It doesn't matter. It's a Murphy rules, you know.
so sorry
It could
for
be.
that. Yes, have a good night for everyone. Thank you so
And you
much.
too. Bye-bye.
Okay,
Take
thank
care.
you very much. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Bye.